Well, as we get set for ESPN's 39th year of the place to be for the NFL Draft, delighted as we are every year to be joined by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. You know, when ESPN started this and they talked to the NFL about doing the draft, the question was, why would you do that? And here we are now at AT&T Stadium with expected to be record crowds. Did you ever imagine the draft would become what it is?
I didn't. I was there actually in ESPN's first year as a young intern. I think we were in a ballroom.
Yeah.
And I do remember being there when Pete got that call, the then Commissioner Pete Rozelle. And he did. He reacted as, hey, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
And I think you guys are a big part of that growth.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. We sat last year in Philadelphia, and you said to me, I think we've outgrown the idea of an indoor venue, and it really has. We're inside, which could be a record, and we're spilling out to the fan zone. It's become an experience.
It really has, and that's exactly what we call it outside. And for the first time, we're inviting a bunch of the teams in what we call the inner circle, the fans.
Yeah.
And so trying to accommodate all the fans that want to attend, we have 420,000 people that registered to try to come sometime over the 3 days.
Unbelievable.
So it's a great challenge for us, but it's really a demonstration of the passion of the fans.
It is going to be a great 3-day celebration here for sure, but this night feels like it could be electric because we have so many quarterbacks. We could tie the record that's ever been taken in the first round going back to 1983 with 6. What are your expectations for what may unfold tonight?
I feel the same thing. I feel that there's going to be a lot of movement. There's a lot of great young players going to be drafted tonight, but I feel like teams are thinking about moving, and we'll see how that unfolds. That's the great thing about the draft is, you know, people making moves. I think trades are more common a little bit in the first round in the recent years, and I think that's all a positive thing for the fans and tonight's excitement.
Yeah, look, as I've always said, this is the ultimate reality show. None of us know really what's going to happen.
That's for sure.
You just sort of buckle in. And one thing that has moved this offseason, the idea of trying to clear up the catch rule. Do we feel like we've got a better clarity and people won't be going through the slow motion HD rewind to make sure everything was where it's supposed to be?
Listen, I think what we did is we stepped back and we said, what do we want to have be a catch in the league? So when we see something, do we want that to be a catch or not a catch? And then we went back and we redesigned the rule to meet that. And I think we achieved that. We have 32 coaches and clubs that all approve this. And I think we got the right rule. Now we have to execute, and I'm confident we can do that too.
Yeah, the other big rule change was about helmet-to-helmet contact. You know, we looked at some games, and you could call that on a lot of plays in every game. How are you going to judiciously do that, because player safety is important, but also make sure the pace of the game isn't slowed?
Well, Trey, I think it's really, the coaches all looked at this and said, we really are, it's not helmet to helmet necessarily, it's using the helmet to, when you lower
your helmet.
And you use that to initiate the contact and drive force behind that. And that's something that we need to give more explanation to for the players and for the coaches. But our coaches, our head coaches all got it and said, we don't coach this. This isn't part of the game, and we don't want it to be part of the game. So it's just an effort to take that out and make sure that we do that in a way that doesn't become disruptive in the game, and I don't think it will.
Is that something that can be coached from the NFL down, or need to be coached from, you know, Pee Wee and Pop Warner leagues up?
Well, we think, you know, it can be coached from the NFL down, but we also think we should see it come from Pee Wee up too. That's the whole point, is to try to get it across all of football, so players, as they develop through the game, will be playing the game safely. And we want the youngest kids who are playing the game to be playing it safely with the right techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that was a hot button topic, obviously all of last year, the anthem protests, there was talk that we might come to some conclusion or policy change. Are we any closer to sort of getting any more clarification on that?
Well, Trey, our big focus with our players was understanding what they were protesting, and to try to get that kind of understanding and actually work with them to find solutions in those communities. And we approved that in March, actually a unanimous vote with the clubs, to support those efforts and to match the funds of those players. So we think that that's going to be what the players ultimately are seeking, which is to make our communities better. The clubs want to support that. The clubs believe in that too. And I think it's going to be very positive.
And we've seen some of that going forward in South Beach with some of the Dolphin players getting involved, and also what the Eagles players did on their way to the Super Bowl championship.
Absolutely. I mean, they believe passionately in this. They are invested in this. They are fully aware of what's going on, and they really want to make changes. And I support that as the commissioner and as the league and our owners.
Speaking of owners, Shad Khan looks like he's going to buy Wembley Stadium. You have said before, when asked about the idea of a team in London as soon as possible. Where are we in the idea of maybe a team being in London sometime in the near future?
Well, I think we're still ways off on that. I think Shad's purchase of Wembley Stadium he's an international and global businessman who looks at opportunities.
And a raconteur and a man about town.
Yes, he's
all of those.
He's quite an entrepreneur, but he sees what a great asset that is.
Yeah.
It obviously in the short term gives us a lot more flexibility on scheduling, which is a positive for us as we play more games over there. But he's committed to Jacksonville and making sure he thinks that actually this is going to help solidify and stabilize the Jacksonville franchise by having the ability to play 1 or 2 games overseas.
Well, to that point, I ran into 2 gentlemen from Glasgow, Scotland in the hotel that came over specifically for the draft. We've seen the NBA get very international, and obviously you guys are very invested in London. How important is it for the NFL, do you think, to diversify to a more international audience?
I do, and we've seen that. Every time we play a game, I mentioned to a series of our season ticket members this morning that we actually, in our London series, there's actually 40,000 season ticket members who buy all 4 of those games. Mexico, we sell out in a matter of moments. So what we've really seen is an extraordinary reaction, and what we're trying to do is respond to that demand for football. And a lot of it, with the technology we have today in the media, we can reach those fans on a global basis. And that's a lot of what we spend our time on. How do we reach those fans and deliver football to them, because they love it when they get it.
Yeah, listen, we'll be a part of the Monday night experience, the Mexico City experience.
Absolutely.
This year on Monday night.
Looking forward to that.
Really looking forward to that. And from the 2 guys I met at the hotel, you're big in Glasgow, just so you know. You've got the Glasgow market.
I do have a little Scottish blood, too.
We all do if we're honest about it. Oh, it's expected to be one hell of a night. Roger.
Thanks, Trey.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate all the partnership.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.